If there's a noise outside at night,
Doesn't bother you.
that's not scary to me at all. My response is totally rational.
What if it was an invasive hippo?
Well, hippos are different. That's a whole segment.
Tennessee.
Look out your window.
Invaded by hippos. I mean, now see, when I hear something like that, my cat's moving around,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
killer in the house.
My reaction is like Jack Reacher. You know, I have a whole series of logical,
Yeah.
you know, if there is somebody, where can I hit that guy
Yeah.
in the next half a second?
Right.
Yeah, I find that actually pretty interesting in those books, you know. Yeah, I've read 2 of those books. It's interesting because the first one I read was one of the more recent. And then I went in, I was like, oh, I should start from the beginning, right? And the beginning one I didn't like as much. So I don't know if it developed over time, the character developed over time where I liked the character more later on. I don't know. I don't know if I would try it again or not.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you'd read the first one first.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah. I read a couple of them and they seemed very much the same. I don't think he develops.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was a lot, maybe not a lot there. I don't know why they're so popular, but who knows, you know, why was Twilight popular? Why was, you know, whatever. Why are the law ones popular? John Grisham, you know, I think those are crap, but whatever.
Well, they're all formulaic.
Yeah, total formula. That's how I could retire early. I could
You can write?
get a formula. You know, when you talk about it, it seems like maybe John Wick is on that scale too. I don't know. Can't wait for the next one's opening soon. And the Ip Man guy is in it.
Oh, right.
So I'm pretty
Right.
excited about that. Yeah. Donnie Yen is, I think, his last name.
What do they call that? Gun fu or something? Where the gun becomes a part of the martial arts.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, you know, they punch the guy with the gun and then shoot him. They do that all the time in the John Wick. What's
Yeah,
funny?
no, I mean, I never heard it called that. Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Somebody started, who is that? The Chinese director years ago started that.
Takeshi Kitano?
Charlie Chan?
No, John Woo.
Oh, John Woo. Right. See, that's
Woo.
why I love my son. The other day, he texts me and he said, yeah, I've just been watching all those Takeshi Kitano movies, and I think you should start them. I did a little marathon of them. I'm like, that's why I love
That's
you.
cool. That's cool.
He's a start with outrage. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's a Japanese actor, and I think he has worked with John Woo, but then he started doing his own movies too.
Wow.
And you know, he's got all these bad cop movies, and he was in Battle. He's an actor, and he was in Battle Royale. You guys have seen that movie, Battle Royale? That's awesome. It's a Japanese movie where and basically Hunger Games ripped it off. It's about this in Japan, you know, in the future, every year, a class of 14-year-olds or 15-year-olds is chosen to go and plopped on this island, and they have to kill all of each, you know, they have to kill each other off until only one is left. Yeah, I can't remember the exact reason why. It doesn't really matter. But he plays a teacher in it, you know, and it's so good. It's so good.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Squid Game thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I feel like in some ways it's the originator of a lot of that kind of stuff, you know?
How old is the movie?
It's at least, I think, 15 years old. Maybe it's 20 years old. I'm not sure. But then when I heard the plot of the Hunger Games, I'm like, it's Battle Royale, you know? So.
I was trying to think about when the Hunger Games books were written, how long ago they were written.
I mean, a lot of people make that comparison. I don't know, you know, if the timing is right or not.
Right.
I don't know. Japanese movies in general are just so good.
I don't have time to watch so much. You guys watch so much. I don't have.
I feel like I don't. But...
Actually, you know what it is? I don't have the patience to find stuff. That's my issue. You know, I pull up Netflix or whatever, and I'm just going scroll. Do I want to wait? I don't know. And then I'll watch 5 minutes of it, and I know I really want. And then all of a sudden, 2 hours have passed, and I've seen nothing.
No, I do that too.
Right.
I'll be just scrolling for an hour for sure. And I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. You know what has a lot of good stuff on now is Tubi. It's free. Tubi, Tubi.
Okay, yeah.
It's free, but they have a lot of good stuff on there.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
Cecilia loves Tubi.
How does it stay free?
I don't know. Well, I don't think it's the good stuff that's, from this year.
And there's ads, I think.
Yeah, there's ads. Yeah, I wish I could remember it. I mean, there's a lot of good horror movies on there, like really. And there's, like, I saw I didn't watch it because I don't know if I could or not, but Enter the Void is on there, for example. That's that Gaspar Noé movie. His stuff is really tough to watch, but
I don't really watch that much. I watch a lot of YouTube, but, 10 minutes at a time. But I'll watch one movie every 2 or 3 days, and I don't have a patience for more than that.
Yeah, that's me too. I mean, I'm not watching like 24 hours a day, but I guess when I do watch, because, if I'm doing something in the house or whatever, and I don't feel like having music on, I'll maybe have the TV on, and I don't really pay attention to it, right? Not much. So I'll have the Great British Baking Show or whatever. But, and what was my point? When I do watch a movie, it's got to be something that I really care about and I'm really interested in, because I don't like only half watching,
right.
Like when I was scrolling yesterday, I saw Lake Mungo. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of that. And then I, paid attention to it. So,
right. I had another follow-up from a previous podcast, crotchless bloomers. There was a discussion that BAYLIE brought up.
Wow, I don't even remember that. What was the context of that?
So GPT and I had a little discussion about crotchless bloomers.
Bloomers.
Yes.
Bloomers. Oh, wait, was that when we were talking about how people dressed and how did they go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Was that it?
BAYLIE brought it up.
Wow, why don't I remember that little detail? How did I forget that?
We were cleaning out my mother-in-law's dresser in the guest room, and we came across these crotchless bloomers. So, yeah, go ahead, Walt.
Like, were they sexy crotchless underwear, or were they?
No, they were, let's say, Victorian, turn of the century, white cotton bloomers, and they were legs, but nothing in the crotch. Right.
Okay.
You thought they might be like Victoria's Secret 1885 or...
There you go.
Fredericks of Hollywood.
right, Frederick there. But it's just as simple as you might imagine. When they wore those big dresses and everything, and they would go to parties or whatever, the facilities were so...
Right, they would just stand over a hole in the floor.
It just allowed them to pee on the floor.
Yeah, basically that was it.
Really?
Yeah, there was no flushing. There was no... they were outhouses.
I was joking.
Big mansions often had separate wings that were, for balls, parties.
Yeah. That
were like latrines, basically, like the army would have. And so women had to not get their dresses dirty.
Yeah.
And not go through a whole lot of...
Or sit down.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a simple reason. They just didn't bother.
Strictly utilitarian.
With the crotches.
And it was convenient if you met Mr. Right at one of these balls.
Mr. Kinda Right.
Wow.
After a lot of punch.
There is a movie in that. There is a movie in that fact.
Are you still thinking about your retirement, Grace? Are you trying to...
I'm thinking. There's a character who only wears crotchless bloomers.
Right, her name's Daisy.
Bloomers. Yeah. God, someone used the word beauty parlor the other day. I'm going to the beauty parlor. Oh my God, bloomers. That was like, I for a while I thought maybe that was a word that my mother made up, because we used to have words now for things like your armpit was your sheeties.
I don't know that one.
I don't know why. Yeah, your sheeties. Well, I think maybe my mom made them up. I don't know. And then your privacy was, which is what Louise used to call it, your privacy, was your... was your tweezy.
Tweezy.
I mean, where did that come from?
Cheaty, tweezy.
God. I don't know. I remember being friends with some girl in 4th grade, and she said, "Do you know what they call that down there?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "Your pagina." Your pagina.
Oh, that's what my son used to call it. Because he couldn't say vagina, so he called it a vagina.
Now we should have just started with this at this.
Yeah. With crotchless bloomers, right.
And then gone straight to AI. Well, I'll switch it around.
Yeah, in the editing you can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now I'm going to have to look up tweezy. Is that a word that anyone else uses?
For the thumbnail, who wants to pose for the...
Oh.
Jesus. You know, other people I know, they call it your hoo-ha.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Sue Rosenberg used to call it her cho-cho.
Your hoo-ha. Well, that's the Spanish, right?
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
For the derogatory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you better bleep that one, Walt.
Yeah.
That's like using the C word.
Isn't that a prostitute?
In another language.
Does that mean prostitute too?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, what's the word for prostitute?
I know it in French because it's very similar, but I don't know what it is in Spanish. In Italian, it's like putana is.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
maybe
puta is
okay.
Prostitute in Spanish.
Okay.
This is something, I think we talked about it briefly before, but watching the Oscars, there's something that I can't reconcile, is men versus women. The wardrobes. How can we have equality when the culture makes women dress the way they do at the Oscars? Ducks or whatever, or birds, where the one sex is, crazy and the other is bland and dark.
Oh, that's what you mean.
And that's how we are. I mean...
But in other species, sometimes it's the male. Often it's the male, right? So...
Right. Sometimes it's the male.
Yeah.
Right. What... I don't even know how to frame it, but doesn't it seem wrong in some way? Like at the height of Mao, when everybody dressed the same, that almost seems more realistic to me than the opposite.
The gowns at the Oscars are really, they're all incredible designers. And so people are really wearing designs.
Right.
So I think that's why it's gotten so over the top, because everyone's showing off their stuff, their designs and everything.
But the Oscars just reminded me of it. But if you look at local TV or news anchors, men are brown and gray and dark, and women are wearing anything.
Oh, agreed.
Oh, yeah. Look at the weather.
Agreed.
Look at the weather girls, for Christ's sake. Well, and I mean, it's true even when you have really, really accomplished like journalists. Like for example, I really like Nora McDonald, right?
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell. I really like her and a couple of the other people on CBS, and like they still have to, they're not dressing like Pop-Tarts, but they have like the form fitting,
When they pull the shot back and she's standing there, and almost all her feet are like crisscrossed like this. She's got one foot in front of the other, like it's a very kind of prudish thing, also ladylike. So there's all kinds of things that are.
I mean, it's in a way it kind of, there's this Key and Peele sketch where Key is playing this this popular singer, a woman who's really popular with girls, right? And they're doing this interview with like a bunch of her fans, and she's talking about girl power. And then you look at her videos and the lyrics, and it's all about, how she's giving a blowjob to every, you know what I mean? And like how she dresses, and she's like, but it's girl power. And it's like,
Right.
I mean, that's the thing that bugs me a lot. I think it's a lot in music where you've got these women that are,
oh my gosh,
empowerment. It's like, but why the fuck are you dressed like that?
Why are you dressed like a puta?
How is it empowering? Well, I'm the one who can show. Yeah, I'm the one who can show my body. It's like, but why do you have to do that? Who's looking? It's not the women who are looking.
But I mean, how do you, when you have to go to a party and you have to get dolled up, which is a great term, what do you think about that? I mean, I don't have to put makeup on.
Oh, I don't either. I don't wear makeup.
You never do.
I wear very, very, very little. The only reason I wear mascara is because if I don't curl my eyelashes, I always look like I'm half asleep because of the how my eyes are very deep set. Other than that, I don't wear any makeup. And I think the older for a lot of people, the older they get, they're like, why the fuck do I have to wear this?
Right. But how about women where you work, to younger women?
I mean, for me, where I am at a university, it's like half and half. You know,
Yeah.
like there's the women who just dress the way they want. They, you know, have like their high top sneakers on and their, you know, jeans and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they totally look presentable. But, and then there are some of the women who will, you know, you can tell that they're wearing the false eyelashes and they're curling their hair the way everyone curls their hair and makeup and, you know, and I just think, God, what a freaking waste of time.
Well, it's the same if you look at Congress. All the senators sitting in there and you see these just like splashes of color because the women are wearing a bright red suit or a yellow or white when they all wore white that one year. And all the guys are, drab gray.
Yeah, I don't know, equality is maybe not the right word, but as long as we have the culture that separates us like that.
Yeah, it's the system.
How can it be acceptable? I just think it's weird.
I mean, I think it would be fun for the men to wear more color and, you know, not to think that the only thing they can do is wear bright socks or a bright tie, you know?
Yeah.
And I do notice, you know, I don't know, for some reason lately I've been watching more network news. I generally don't watch TV news at all, but I have been watching some more. And there's a lot of dudes on there now who have really nice tailoring, you know, and it looks super good. And it's not just like, you know, the schlumpy suit. They look really good.
So watch a little bit of the NCAA coverage that's going on right now, the March Madness, and you watch the broadcasters in between the halves and the games and stuff. And the sports broadcasters really know how to dress. You know, they wear vests, they wear, you know, sneakers or whatever. So it's a little flashier in the sports arena. So it's kind of fun. It's very fun.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, how sports is really like, I mean, a lot of fashion comes up from the streets, right? It's urban fashion. And so sports is very heavily dominated by people from urban areas, right? And so maybe that their style is rubbing off on the sportscasters, which is cool.
And a lot of sportscasters are former players, so they're probably bringing their own sense of style to it.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that, like, you know, when I was watching football games this season, that some of the dudes, like, on the, you know, the post and pregame shows look really good, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like people should be able to wear what they want, but I just feel bad when I see women dressed a certain way because it's like, well, I mean, I know that they, you know, that people say women are dressing for other women, but in reality, the basis for it is for the male look. You know?
Yeah. You're making yourself an object and then complaining about being an object.
Well, that's exactly what that Key and Peele skit was. You know, exactly.
Well, the same could be said for you know, dyeing your hair. I mean, the women who start dyeing their hair in their 20s.
I know. And Botoxing in their 20s.
And Botoxing, right. Like, I have 2 friends who have stopped dyeing their hair, you know, going their natural gray. And one of the women, she was kind of this off-color blonde for so long, and she said she let her hair grow out, and all of a sudden she's like, wow, I have all this dark hair that she didn't know she had. I'm not as gray as I thought I was, because she dyed her hair for decades. So
yeah,
she was feeling pretty good about herself because it looked great. Like, well, maybe you should have done that 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's hard because it's hard to gauge sometimes how you look. It's hard for me to understand what age I really look. And I feel like it's harder for me now to judge, unless someone's like obviously in their 20s, it's very hard for me to judge how old people are anymore. I don't know why, but
I still have the same problem. I mean, mentally, I don't feel that old, but I see myself in the mirror, or I walk across the backyard and I find myself teetering.
For sure.
And I'm like, what's going on here? Where'd my balance go?
I feel the balance thing already, for sure. For sure. But, you know, it's interesting because I don't know, for some reason, after I went back to work full time, you know, like back in the office almost full time, I didn't have as much time to work out, right? I had really got back into my system and during COVID for those 3 years, and it was great. And so I went, you know, I don't know, the past like 9 months or so with not really being as into working out as I had been. And so I've really started again over the past like couple of months, and I can feel the difference. I can totally feel the difference. You know, like there's this one thing where you stand there with weights and you hinge at your waist and you bring your one leg up, right? And like I was doing that in a video yesterday, while going along with this video, and I did it without like falling over.
Or teetering. Right.
Yes, but I had to get back into it, and so you can make a difference. But
yeah, balance can be brought back.
It's amazing.
It's
amazing how much stronger you can feel in general.
No, it doesn't.
Working out a little bit. It doesn't even have to be a lot.
Super important, I think. Weight training, strength training,
yeah, it is for us ladies especially.
So, do you like working out, Walt? Go on. Sorry, Sorry, Bailey.
Yeah, I do every.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
4 to 5 days a week, I do something. I do a little treadmill and light weights.
Wait,
that's good.
And you walk the dog too, like every day, right?
I walk the dog miles.
Yeah.
So I'm active, but I can still feel the deterioration. I can't. And then I see a picture of myself or in the mirror, and I'm like, wow.
Or on a Zoom call.
Because mentally, you don't feel that way. You never feel like you look.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there is a function on Zoom where you can improve your appearance, and mine is set to 100%.
I should have done that. That's why all my pores are showing.
Yeah, I mean, how I really see it is like on my neck, right? Like it's on now.
Like mine?
But if it weren't, it'd just be like
turkey neck
crepe. See, yours doesn't look like that.
Well, it does to me.
I think you're a couple years older than I am, though, Bailey, and you look younger than I do, I think.
I'm going to be 63 in April.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason you were like maybe 3 years old. I'll be 62 in May.
Okay.
So it's only a year difference.
Yeah.
Both you guys look pretty good.
I think we look pretty good. Don't you?
Yeah, damn good.
Damn good. We look better in a ball gown, though, right?
Yeah. Crotchless bloomers. Oh my God. Crotchless bloomers.